Hello dear soulmates and welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's tutorial, you'll be learning how to draft this beautiful palazzo trouser. If this is what you'd like to learn, kindly stay tuned to the end of this video. Thank you. Alright, so I have my basic trouser pattern here, the front and the back. If you don't know how to draft the basic trouser, kindly comment the word free and I'll send you the link to my free trouser class. So I'm just going to go ahead and label my pattern now. So I have my hip line, my crotch depth, my knee, and then my trouser length. So now the next thing I'll be doing now, I'll pick out the front and keep the back pattern, and then I'm going to connect my crease line to the end of my dart leg like so, and then I am going to tape down my dart. So I'm just taping down my dart as you can see. Just want to go ahead and ensure you tape it down properly. Now when I'm done now, I'm going to slash through my crease line to the end of my dart. Now this is optional. If you actually want a wider palazzo, all you need to do is to just go ahead and slash open the dart. You slash open the dart to the end. You can actually go ahead and spread this like this, but if you want more fullness, all you need is to take out your dart, which is what I'm doing. So I'm going to cut open my dart as you can see. This is for more fullness. So I am going to place a new piece of pattern paper underneath my pattern like this, which I'll be using to spread open my pattern. So I'm just joining it at the tip of the dart as you can see. Now I'm going to measure how wide I want my trouser to be. You can do anything starting from 10 inches or even less depending on how wide you want it to be. You can do 15 inches, 20 inches. So I am just going to go ahead and spread my pattern. This is me just holding down my pattern so it stays in one place. Now like I said, you can actually spread depending on your preferred inches. So you can do 10 inches, 15 inches, 20 inches, depending on how wide you want your palazzo to be. I just want mine to be moderately wide, so I am going to be using about 10 inches. This is me just marking out my 10 inches. You want to ensure you're actually using the correct measurement. Now I'm going to find the midpoint of my pattern, which is going to give me my crease line. This is me getting the crease line, rolling it all the way to the bottom of my pattern. This will guide me in drawing out my M. You need to find out the crease line, you need to find the crease line and draw it out. Now I'm going to use my curve to connect it from the inseam to the outer seam like so. You don't want to connect it straight. You can also use your free hand like I'm doing here. Trust me, you don't want to connect it straight so that you don't have your trouser loop-sided, one side longer than the other. So just go ahead and use your curve to connect and then blend it up like so. Now I'm just going to tape down my pattern using a sellotape. Please note you can also do this on your fabric, you can also spread on your fabric, but I just enjoy doing mine on my pattern paper first for accuracy purpose. Now I want to tape down, and then when I'm done, the next thing for me to do is to go ahead and cut out my pattern. So I'm just cutting out my pattern like this, starting from the M. Just want to go ahead and cut out your pattern. Alright, now so I'm going to put the same thing for my back pattern. I'm just going to connect my crease line to the end of my dart leg, and then I would be slashing through the crease line all the way to the end of my dart. I would also be spreading it using the same inches I used for the front. If you spread by 10 inches for the front, you want to go ahead and repeat the same thing for the back. So I'm just going to go ahead now and spread it open. Alright, so my palazzo pattern is ready. This is the back and this is my front pattern. You can see I actually spread them equally. So this is the fabric I'll be working with. I'm working with the Jonkoso fabric because of its fluidity. So I'm just going to go ahead now and take out my back pattern, leaving the front pattern. For my pockets now, I am going to come in by 2 inches and then go down by 7 inches for the pocket opening. And then I'll connect it slanted. You can make yours curved if you want. Now for my pocket bag now, I'll go in by 3 inches and then come down by 4 inches and then connect it into a square like I'm doing in the video. So now I'm going to come with a new piece of paper, place it underneath my pattern because I'll be tracing out my pocket facing and my pocket bag. So I'm tracing out my pocket facing first using my tracing wheel. You want to go ahead and trace it all the way to the waist. Then I'll also go ahead and trace out my pocket bag. And then I'll just use my marker to highlight it so you get to see what I have done. This is how you actually cut your side pockets. So this is the pocket bag, and then I'm just going to go ahead and highlight my pocket facing. So for this now I'll be cutting two for each, two pocket facing and two pocket bags for both sides of the front part of my trouser. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut this out now. You can add your seam allowance on your pattern paper if you choose to, but I'll be adding as on my fabric. So this is me just cutting it out, cutting out the pocket bag, and then I'll go ahead and cut out my pocket facing. So here is my complete pattern set. Alright, so I've actually gone ahead to cut out my pattern on my fabric, and for the seam allowance now, I actually went ahead to add 1 inch towards the side and then half inch to the inseam, 1 inch at the hem and 0.5 to all other parts of my fabric. So I'm just going to go ahead and take out the back, leaving the front now. We'll be fixing our pocket first. So this is me taking out the pins from my pattern. So I'm just going to go ahead and open this up now. Don't forget to mark the wrong side. So I'm going to place this now right side, and then I'll come in with my pocket facing first. So I'm going to place right side on right side. Please, right side facing the right side. And then I'll pin it down, and then I'm going to sew on 0.5 inch. So this is me just pinning down my fabric. So you want to go ahead and pin this down now. You want to secure with your pins like I'm doing. It would actually make it easier to sew. Now when I'm done pinning now, I'll take it to my sewing machine and then I'm going to sew it down on 0.5 inch, and then I'll bring it back and show you the next thing to do. So I've actually gone ahead to sew it and I've pressed it. As you can see, this is the right side and this is the inside. Can you see the way it looks so neat? Now I'm going to place my pocket bag on it, right side facing right side again, and then I'm going to sew on 0.5. So I'm just going to go ahead and pin it down now before taking it to my sewing machine to sew. So I'll just sew it and then I'll come back and show you the next thing to do. And when I'm done, I'm going to sew the crotch, the front crotch together. So this is me. I've gone ahead to sew my front crotch and I've pressed it open, and I've also sewn my pockets down. So I was going to pin my pockets now, the bag to the trouser to secure it. Now when I'm done now, I'm going to come in with my back trouser, the back part of my trouser. I've also gone ahead to sew the crotch and I've pinned and I've pressed it down. Now I'm going to join them right side facing right side and I'll pin it down at the sides. So ensure you actually pin it down to make it easier for you to sew. Make sure they align at the hem. So I'm just joining it together and then securing with my pin. You really want to take your time to do this. So I'm going to go ahead now and mark out my seam allowance, and to do that I'll divide my waist measurement into two, then take the rest and then divide it into two and mark it on both sides all the way to the hem. And then I would also go ahead and sew my inseam on 0.5 inch. So this is what it looks like when I'm done sewing and pressing. You want to ensure you press with a good steam press iron. Now the next thing for us to do is to go ahead and cut out our band. And for my band now, I've ironed interfacing on my leftover fabric. So I'm going to fold it into two now, and then I'll take my waist measurement round and then divide it into two. The waist I'm working with here is 30 inches. When I divide it, that will be 15. Then I'm going to add about 1.5 inch seam allowance to it. So the width of my face of my band is 5 inch. I'm using 5 inches for it, including my seam allowance. By the time I fold it, it's going to be about 1.5 inch. So this is 5 inches now, and then I'm going to mark my waist divided by two, like I said earlier, on it, and then I'll add 1.5 inches as my seam allowance. I'm just marking it out on the upper part, and then I'll connect it to give me a straight line. Now I'm going to go ahead and cut this out now. Please note you can also add gum stay to your band to give it stability, but I just prefer using stay alone. So this is because now my pattern now. I'll go over and then press it. I'm going to fold it over like this on the right side, and then I will iron my interfacing very well and then press it because I need the crease line. So I'm gonna have to press it now. I am going to divide this into two. So I'm slashing open my band now like this. Now I'm going to go ahead and then place them on top of each other again and then sew on 0.5 inch, but I won't start from the end. I'll come in by about 1.5 inch, the seam allowance I left, or even 2 inches before I start my sewing. Now I've gone ahead to sew it and I've pressed it open. As you can see, the way it's looking so neat. Then I'll come in with my main trouser and then I will pin it round, starting from the back crotch. So my zipper is going to be at the back part of my trouser. I'm just going to go ahead and pin my band round, and then I'm going to sew from the right side like this. Note from the right side. So I'll just go ahead and sew it. So I'm gonna ahead to sew this down now from the right side. So the next thing for us to do now is to go ahead and fix our zipper. So this is the zipper I'll be working with. I am going to pin it down from the opening I made earlier. Remember we didn't finish sewing it down. So I'm going to go ahead, pin down my zipper, and then I would sew it and come back and show you. So I've gone ahead to sew down my zipper, and then I'm going to go ahead now and just finish it up using my hemming gum before top stitching from the right side to the wrong side. So this is what it looks like, and then I'm also going to finish up my hem by Alright guys, so this is the end result of our palazzo trouser with the side pocket. Just actually have my zipper in front for this. You can also place your zipper in front if you want. You can see how beautiful this is. So if you enjoyed this tutorial, kindly give us a thumbs up and please subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. Don't forget to like, share and comment. Alright guys, so I'll see you in my next tutorial. Bye.